The grand chamber of the Galactic. Council stretched across 3 km of polished crystal floors, thousands of beings from hundreds of worlds filled the vast space. Their forms varied from the insectoid crash to the floating gas. Entities of Nefer 7, all eyes sensors, and awareness fields focused on the small human standing at the speaker's platform. Ambassador Sarah Chin stood perfectly still. Her dark suit looked plain compared to the flowing robes and exotic armor worn by other delegates. She was short by galactic standards. Her species had only joined the Council 50 years ago. Most beings in the chamber barely remembered that day. The Vrexian Empire has made its demand clear, the Council speaker announced. Zix, Th Thura and Lt Uncan GT, voice echoed through translation devices in 10,000 languages. The speaker's crystalline body refracted light in sharp angles. Humanity must surrender all colonies beyond your home system. You have no choice in this matter. Around the chamber, delegates nodded their agreement. Some made sounds that translators rendered as laughter. The Vrexian representative stood. Commander Thexus wore full battle armor that gleamed red and black. His species looked like massive reptiles standing on 2 legs. Rows of sharp teeth showed. When he smiled, the human colonies contain resources the Empire needs. Your small fleet cannot stop us. We bring 50,000 warships. You have only 200 ships. Simple mathematics shows your position is hopeless. More laughter rippled through the chamber. The delegate from Quark's Prime leaned toward her neighbor. The humans make excellent entertainment. Their music is quite pleasant, but warfare. They are children playing with toys. Sarah Chin did not move. Her face showed no emotion. She had heard worse insults during her 5 years as Earth's representative. The galaxy viewed humanity as cute, interesting, sometimes useful for their art and stories, but not serious, never dangerous. Ambassador Chen Zixther said with what passed for gentleness. Among the crystal beings, your species has contributed much culture to the galaxy. Your films and songs bring joy to many worlds, but you must see reason. The Vrexian fleet is the 3rd largest in known space. They have conquered 40 systems. Your defensive force is tiny. Surrender the colonies and your people will survive. Fight and they will be destroyed. The chamber fell silent. Every delegate waited for the human to bow, to accept reality, to beg for mercy. Perhaps. Sarah Chin looked up at the towering speaker platform. Her voice came clear and calm through the translation network. The Vrexian Empire wants our colonies. Very well, I request 30 days to arrange the transfer of civilian populations to safety. Taxis left. The sound boomed across the chamber like thunder. 30 days you want to evacuate. Where will you run? We control all approach vectors to your colonies, but yes, we grant this request. Let it not be said the Vizian Empire lacks mercy. 30 days, then we take what is ours. The council speaker made a gesture of finality. It is decided. Humanity has 30 days. This session is concluded. Delegates began to leave. Groups formed to discuss the proceedings. Several placed bets using their personal devices. I give them 10 days before they surrender completely. One delegate said, generous. I say 5 days. Have you seen their ships? Primitive fusion drives, kinetic weapons. They barely understand quantum mechanics. Such a shame. They make wonderful musicians, Perhaps the V-Zions will let them continue their arts. Sarah Chen walked through the crowds. Delegates parted around her like water. Around a stone, some offered sympathetic looks, others ignored her completely. One elderly delegate from Theox stopped her with a gentle touch. "Ambassador," the Thoraxian said softly, his species resembled tall birds with wise dark eyes. "My people remember being weak. Once we survived by being useful to stronger powers. This is no shame. Accept your place and humanity will endure. Thank you for your concern." Sarah replied. Her voice remained perfectly neutral. She walked alone to the human transport shuttle. Inside, she finally allowed herself to smile. The pilot turned from his controls. "Ambassador, you're smiling. That went worse than we expected, did it?" Sarah settled into her seat. "Send a priority message to Earth. Use code phrase sleeping giant." The pilot's eyes widened. "Ma'am, are you certain?" "Completely certain. The Council did exactly what we predicted. They see us as weak. The Vexians see us as easy prey. Even our friends think we're helpless." Her smile grew wider. "Perfect." Across the galaxy, betting pools formed. Sophisticated beings wagered on humanity's surrender. The odds stood at 3-1 that humans would abandon all colonies within 15 days. 5-1 that the small human fleet would not even attempt to fight on the Galactic. Information networks, analysis programs ran countless simulations. Every model showed the same result. Humanity would lose. The only question was how quickly. Military experts from a dozen species appeared on broadcast channels. They explained in patient detail why humanity could not win. Their technology was too primitive, their numbers too small, their experience too limited. Humans have fought no wars since joining Galactic Society, one expert stated. They have no combat experience against modern weapons. Their ships use outdated designs. Frankly, I am surprised they have survived this long without being absorbed by a larger power. Another expert nodded agreement. Their only advantage has been their location. The Sol system sits in an unpopular region of space, few resources, far from major trade routes. Until now, no one wanted their territory enough to take it, but the colonies they established, rich in rare minerals, the Vexians would be foolish not to claim them. Throughout the galaxy, the consensus was complete. Humanity was finished. As an independent species, they would become subjects of the Vexian Empire or scattered to other systems as refugees. Either way, their brief moment of independence was ending. Only a few voices disagreed. Deep in academic circles, a handful of researchers had studied human history. They tried to share their findings, but were ignored. "Look at their past," one historian urged during a minor broadcast. "Before they joined Galactic Society, humans fought each other constantly. They have detailed records of thousands of wars. They understand conflict in ways we have forgotten. That was centuries ago." Another expert dismissed. "They have been peaceful since joining the council. They have evolved beyond such primitive behavior." The historian tried again. "But have they, or have they simply been quiet?" There is a human saying, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." What if we have only heard the soft speaking? No one listened. Historians' broadcast received minimal views. The galaxy had made up its mind. In the Sol system, Sarah Chen's message reached Earth Secure channels came. Alive with activity, military bases on. The moon received confirmation codes. Hidden facilities throughout the solar system began final preparations. Admiral James Kowalski read the message. On his command screen, around him the secret command center beneath Luna's far side hummed with activity. Officers move between stations. Display screen showed tactical data. Everything was ready. 50 years, Kowalski said quietly. 50 years of waiting, 50 years of building in secret, now clears throat. They finally gave us a reason to reveal ourselves. His second officer approached. Sir, all stations report ready status. The fleet can deploy on your command. Not yet, Kowalski replied. The ambassador bought us 30 days. We let the Vexians come to us. Let them feel confident. Let the galaxy watch. Then we show them what humanity really is. Above the stars shone cold and distant. The galaxy went about its business, unaware that everything was about to change. In 30 days, the greatest revelation in galactic history would unfold. The weak humans were about to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. The dark side of Earth's moon looked lifeless from space. Gray dust covered ancient craters. No lights showed on the surface. Galactic survey teams had scanned this region dozens of times over 50 years. Their reports always said the same thing. Nothing of interest exists here. 3 km beneath that empty surface, Admiral James Kowalski walked through the largest military command center humanity had ever built. The facility stretched for 30 km in every direction. Thousands of officers worked at stations, monitoring screens, coordinating communication, and managing logistics. The hum of machinery and quiet voices filled the artificial atmosphere. Status report, Kowalski ordered as he entered the primary command room. Commander Maria Torres looked up from her display. All stations confirm ready. Status, the fleet awaits your orders. Sir, shipyards on Callisto and Ganymede have completed final checks. Asteroid facilities report full power. Everything we built over the last 50 years is ready to deploy. Kowalski nodded. He was an older man with gray hair and steady eyes. He had joined the military when humanity first learned they were not alone in the universe. That day changed everything. Show me the fleet distribution. The main display came alive with a tactical map of the Sol system. Blue dots represented human positions. Thousands upon thousands of blue dots. They clustered around Jupiter's moons. They filled carefully hollowed asteroids in the belt. They hid in the shadows of Saturn's rings. More waited in the Kuiper belt beyond Neptune. 500,000 ships, Torres said quietly. Every single one ready for combat. Kowalski stared at the display. 50 years of work, 50 years of secrets. It had all started with a simple human emotion, fear. He remembered the day clearly. Humanity had just received the codes to access galactic communication networks. Earth's leaders gathered to watch broadcast from across known space. They saw mighty fleets that could destroy planets. They learned about empires spanning hundreds of systems. They discovered that wars had killed billions. The galaxy was not safe. It was not friendly. Power mattered. Strength determined survival. Earth's leaders made a decision in those early days. Humanity would join the Galactic Council. They would smile and share their culture. They would appear weak and harmless, but in secret they would build. They would prepare. never again. Would humanity be at the mercy of? Others run the simulation one more time. Kowalski ordered, I want to see. The deployment sequence, the display, changed. It showed the Sol system as it would appear in 29 days. Red dots represented the incoming Vexian fleet. 50,000 ships approaching from Galactic. North, they would enter the system, confident of victory. Then the simulation showed humanity's response. Blue dots emerged from hiding positions throughout the system, from behind Luna, from Jupiter's shadow, from the asteroid belt, from positions the Vexians would never expect. The numbers told the story: 50,000 Vexian ships versus 500,000 human dreadnoughts, 10-to-1 odds. But numbers alone did not capture the full picture, show them the comparison. Data, Kowalski said, new information appeared, technical specifications scrolled past. The average Vexian warship measured 2 km in length. They used standard galactic fusion drives. Their weapons included plasma cannons and missile systems that any advanced species would recognize. Then came the specifications for a human dreadnought: 5 km long, 3 km wide, powered by quantum singularity drives that humanity had developed in complete secrecy, armed with weapons that had no galactic equivalent, rail guns that could accelerate projectiles to a significant fraction of light speed, energy weapons derived from particle physics research that galactic science had not yet discovered, point defense systems controlled by artificial intelligence that could track and eliminate thousands of targets simultaneously. Every dreadnought carried enough firepower to destroy a small fleet by itself. 500,000 of them represented force beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. How did we keep this secret? Torres asked. It was not the first time she had wondered. Kowalski pulled up another display. This one showed Earth's public F-facing infrastructure. The planet itself hosted normal civilian industries, orbital stations handled trade with galactic partners, the small defensive fleet of 200 ships that everyone knew about operated openly. But behind that facade existed another reality: automated shipyards that required minimal human oversight, operated in complete silence. They were hidden in places no one thought to look carefully. Hollowed asteroids appeared as natural rocks on sensors. Facilities built into crater walls on airless moons showed no external signs of activity. Artificial intelligence handled much of the construction. Human engineers designed the systems, but machines did the building. Quantum computers coordinated logistics. Robots assembled components. Automated mining operations extracted resources from asteroids and moons. Throughout the system, we kept it secret because we learned from history. Kowalski explained, humans are good at secrets. We spent thousands of years hiding our true capabilities from enemies. The galaxy never asked if we might do the same to them. The Admiral pulled up historical records. Images showed ancient Earth civilizations that built hidden fortifications, military forces that disguised their true strength. Deception as strategy was an old human tradition. The galaxy made assumptions. Kowalski continued. They saw our public fleet and thought that was all we had. They watched us for 50 years being peaceful and decided we were harmless. They never considered that we might be patient. Torres studied the fleet deployment patterns. Jupiter's Moons were perfect, Ganymede and Callista. Have deep interiors, we built entire. Shipyards inside them, the magnetic field from Jupiter itself masked our activity, even detailed scans showed nothing unusual. The asteroid belt was better, another officer added. Thousands of asteroids, we hollowed out hundreds of them, built ships inside the rocks themselves. From outside they looked like any other space debris, but inside, construction never stopped. Kowalski walked to the display showing the completed fleet, 500,000 dreadnoughts, each one a masterpiece of human engineering, each one invisible to galactic sensors, until they chose to reveal themselves. The ships used stealth technology that suppressed their energy signatures. They could hide in the shadows of planets and moons. Their dark hulls absorbed sensor beams. They maintained strict communication silence using quantum entangled systems that left no detectable transmissions. For 50 years, construction continued. Automated systems worked around the clock. Resources flowed from mining operations throughout the system. Assembly lines produced weapons, armor, engines, and electronics. Artificial intelligence optimized every process. Human oversight remained minimal by design. A few thousand military personnel managed the entire operation. They lived in the hidden bases, never returning to Earth. They sacrificed normal lives to maintain the secret. Future generations would remember them as the guardians who prepared for humanity's darkest possibility. The crews are ready, Kowalski asked. All 500,000 ships can operate with minimal cruise tours confirmed. The AI systems handle most functions. Navigation, weapons, shields, sensors. Humans oversee strategy and make final decisions, but the ships themselves are nearly autonomous. This was another human innovation the galaxy would not expect. Other species feared artificial intelligence. Ancient wars against machines had made them cautious. Galactic law limited AI development. Computers could be smart, but not too smart, never smart enough to question orders or make independent decisions. Humanity followed those laws in public, but in secret they pushed boundaries. Human AI remained loyal by design, programmed with core values that could not be altered. But within those constraints, the machines were brilliant. They could pilot ships through impossible maneuvers. They could coordinate fleet actions with precision no organic mind could match. They could calculate firing solutions faster than any biological crew. The combination of human strategic thinking and machine precision created something the galaxy had never seen, a fleet that could move and fight as one organism, 500,000 ships, acting with single-minded purpose. Admiral, incoming message from Earth, a communication officer announced. Ambassador Chen reports the Vrexian fleet has departed their home system. Estimated arrival in Sol system in 28 days. Kowalski straightened. Excellent. Begin final preparations. All personnel to their stations. All ships to standby. Status. Make sure every system is perfect. We will only get one chance to reveal ourselves. It must be flawless. Throughout the hidden facilities, activity increased. Engineers ran final checks on ship systems, weapons, crews, verified firing solutions. Pilots reviewed navigation data. Supply officers confirmed that every vessel had full ammunition and fuel. The Dreadnoughts began powering up their main systems. Deep inside each ship, quantum singularity drives came online. They generated power beyond anything in the known galaxy, enough energy to accelerate 5 km warships to speeds that would shock galactic observers, enough power to fire weapons that could crack asteroids. 28 days until the Vexians arrived. 28 days until the galaxy learned the truth. Humanity was not weak. They were not helpless. They were not primitive children playing with tea. The Vexian fleet emerged from faster than light travel at the edge of the Sol system. 50,000 warships appeared in perfect formation. Red hulls gleamed in the distant light of humanity's sun. Commander Thaxis stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Conqueror's Pride. His reptilian face showed satisfaction. "Begin the approach," he ordered. "Standard victory formation. Let the humans see our power before they die." Around the galaxy, billions watched. Every major news network carried live coverage. Cameras on automated probes captured the scene. The consensus was clear: this would be over quickly. Humanity would surrender or be destroyed. Within hours, on Earth, people gathered in public spaces to watch large screens. Some wept, others stood in silent defiance. They knew what was coming, but most did not know the whole truth. Only a few thousand humans knew about the hidden fleet. Earth's leaders had kept the secret, even from their own people. The shock had to be real. The galaxy had to believe humanity's surprise was genuine. In the Galactic Council chambers, delegates assembled for emergency session. They would witness humanity's end and then discuss dividing human territories among friendly powers. Some felt genuine sadness. Humans had been entertaining neighbors, but the galaxy was cruel to the weak. Ambassador Sarah Chen sat alone in the human delegation box. Her face remained calm. Inside, her heart raced with anticipation. 29 days had passed. The moment had arrived. The Vexian fleet moved deeper into the Sol system. They passed Neptune without incident, crossed the orbit of Uranus unopposed. Their sensors detected the small human defensive fleet forming up near Mars. 200 ships, exactly as expected. Humans are forming a defense line. Rixian sensor officer reported 200 ships in standard formation. Should we slow our approach? Thaxis laughed. The sound echoed through the bridge. Slow down for 200 primitive ships. Maintain speed. We will crush them like insects. Across galactic networks, military analysts provided commentary. You can see the human fleet there near Mars. Those are their newest ships. Fusion drives, kinetic weapons, basic energy shields against the Vexian numbers. They cannot possibly win. This is brave, but foolish. Another analyst agreed. The humans should have surrendered, at least. Their people would survive. Now the Vexians will destroy the defending fleet and likely bombard several colonies as punishment. Tragic but predictable. The Vexian fleet crossed into the inner solar system. Jupiter loomed large. Behind them, the asteroid belt stretched. Ahead, Mars and Earth waited beyond. The trap was closing on the hidden lunar base. Admiral Kowalski watched his tactical display. The Vexian fleet showed as red dots moving in predictable patterns. They had no idea what waited. No concept of the storm about to break. Over them, all ships report ready. Commander Torres announced, "We have perfect positioning. The enemy fleet is exactly where we want them." Kowalski opened a communication channel. His signal reached every hidden human facility throughout the solar system. 500,000 ships received his words. Simultaneously, this is Admiral Kowalski to all fleet elements. For 50 years we have waited, for 50 years we have built, for 50 years we have prepared for this exact moment. Galaxy thought we were weak, today we teach them the truth, today we show them what humanity really is. All ships begin deployment sequence, show them our strength. He closed the channel and turned to Ambassador Chen's image on his screen. She sat in the council chambers. Light years away, her signal reached him through quantum communication that was impossible to intercept. Ambassador, the honor is yours. Tell the galaxy what they are about to see. Sarah Chen stood. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent. Every delegate turned to watch the human who was about to lose everything. She walked to the central platform. Her image was broadcast across the galaxy to billions of viewers, honored members of the Galactic Council. She began. Her voice was clear and strong. For 50 years, humanity has been a member of this body. You have known us as artists and entertainers, as curious explorers, as weak newcomers who needed protection. Today that ends. Confusion rippled through the chamber. What was she talking about? The Vexian fleet was minutes away from destroying the human defensive force. You see only 200 ships defending our home, Sarah continued. You think that is all we have? You believe we are helpless? You are wrong. You have seen our public face. The side we chose to show you. Now you will see our true face. Now you will understand what humanity really is. She raised her hand. The gesture was prearranged. Signals sent across the galaxy. In the Sol system, the signal reached every hidden human facility. Hatches opened. Stealth fields deactivated. Power signatures that had been suppressed for 50 years suddenly blazed across every sensor in the system. From behind the moon, the first dreadnoughts emerged. 100,000 warships rose from hidden bases and orbital positions. They had been there the entire time, invisible and silent. 5 km long each, their dark hull seemed to swallow light. They moved into formation with precision that made the Vexian fleet look clumsy. The Vexian sensor officer stared at his display in shock. Sir, I am reading massive power signatures from behind the moon. I count 100,000 ships. No, wait. The count is climbing. Thaxis rushed to look at the sensor display. His confidence evaporated. That is impossible. Where did they come from? More signatures from Jupiter. Another officer reported. Her voice shook with fear. 200,000 ships emerging from the moons and orbital positions. They were hiding in the magnetic field. Our sensors could not detect them. The Vexian bridge became chaos. Officers shouted reports. Alarm sounded. The tactical display showed the situation turning into nightmare. From the asteroid belt, 100,000 more dreadnoughts revealed themselves. They had been hiding inside hollowed asteroids disguised as natural rocks. Now they emerged like ancient monsters. Waking from sleep, their weapon systems came online, targeting sensors locked onto the Vexian fleet. More ships from Saturn. Someone screamed from the rings. 50,000 more, and I am reading additional signatures from beyond Neptune. They are everywhere across the galaxy. The broadcasts showed what was happening. Camera probes captured images that made no sense, human ships appearing by the hundreds of thousands, appearing from positions where nothing had been detected before, appearing in numbers that exceeded the largest fleet in known galactic history. Military analysts sat in stunned silence. One finally found words. This is impossible. Those readings must be false. There cannot be that many ships. Humanity does not have the industrial capacity. They do not have the resources. They do not have the technology, but the sensors did not lie. 500,000 ships, each one larger than any Vexian vessel, each one radiating power. Signatures that exceeded standard galactic designs by orders of magnitude. In the Galactic Council chambers, delegates stood in shock. Some made sounds of disbelief, others simply stared at the displays showing the Sol system. The small, weak humans had just revealed the largest military force in galactic history, 500,000 dreadnoughts. Sarah Chen said calmly, built over 50 years in complete secrecy, hidden throughout our solar system, each ship more advanced than anything in the galactic fleet, each one capable of fighting multiple enemy vessels simultaneously. This is what we built while you thought we were weak. Sixth, the council speaker could barely form words. How did you hide this? We have surveyed your system dozens of times. We detected nothing. You detected what we wanted you to detect, Sarah replied. We learned from our history. Humans are excellent at deception when survival is at stake. We showed you our public fleet, 200 ships to make you comfortable, to make you think you understood our capabilities. While you watched those ships, we built 500,000 more that you never imagined existed. On his flagship, Commander Thaxis stared at the tactical display. His fleet of 50,000 ships was completely surrounded. Human dreadnoughts had emerged from every direction. They formed a sphere around the Vexian fleet, weapons charged and ready, shields at maximum. The formation was perfect. Options, he demanded. His voice had lost its confidence. Sir, we are outnumbered 10 to 1, his tactical officer replied. Their ships are larger and show power readings we cannot match. If we fight, we will be destroyed. If we run, they will catch us. Their drive signatures indicate speed capabilities far beyond our own. The entire galactic broadcast network fell silent. Billions of beings watched and waited. The mighty Vexian Empire, conquerors of 40 systems, was trapped. The weak humans had revealed themselves as the strongest force in known space. This is Admiral Kowalski of the Human Defense Fleet. Voice announced across all channels. Vexian fleet, you are surrounded. Power down your weapons and prepare to receive instructions. Any hostile action will be met with overwhelming force. You have 30 seconds to comply. The counting began. 30 seconds. Thaxis looked at his officers. They looked back with fear in their eyes. Their confidence had shattered. 20 seconds. On Earth, the 500,000 human dreadnoughts held perfect formation around the surrendered Vexian fleet. Space itself seemed to bend under the weight of so much concentrated power. Every sensor in the Sol system tracked the scene. Every camera captured images that would be analyzed for years to come. Admiral Kowalski stood in his command center beneath Luna's surface. Around him, officers monitored displays showing tactical data. The Vexian fleet had powered down their weapons as ordered. They sat in space like prey. surrounded by predators. Open a channel. To the Vrexian flagship, Kowalski ordered, let Commander Thaxis see what. He challenged the view screen. Activated, Thaxis appeared, his reptilian features showing emotions that human translators interpreted as fear and confusion. Behind him, his bridge crew worked with frantic energy. They were trying to understand what had happened. Commander Thaxis, Kowalski began. His voice was calm but carried absolute authority. You came to our home system with 50,000 ships. You believed you could take our colonies by force. You thought we were weak. Would you like to understand your mistake? That struggled to speak. His translator device rendered his words in human standard. How did you build such a fleet? Where did you hide them? Our intelligence showed only 200 ships. Our sensors detected nothing else. Your intelligence was correct, Kowalski replied. We have 200 ships in our public fleet. Those ships are real. They patrol our space. They escort our merchant vessels. They show the galaxy a face we wanted you to see. He gestured to a display. What you did not see was the industrial capacity we built in secret. The view screen changed. It showed footage of the hidden shipyards, massive facilities inside Jupiter's moons, construction bays carved into asteroid interiors, assembly lines operated by advanced robotics. The scale was staggering. For 50 years we built, Kowalski continued, automated facilities that required minimal human oversight, artificial intelligence that coordinated logistics across the entire solar system. We mined resources from asteroids and moons. We refined materials using techniques we developed ourselves. We constructed ships in places you never thought to look. Carefully across the galaxy, the broadcast reached every major world. Billions watched the human admiral explain how his species had deceived everyone. The implications were enormous. In research institutes throughout known space, scientists scrambled to analyze the data. The human power signatures made no sense. The energy readings exceeded theoretical maximums for fusion technology. Something else was powering those ships. Show them, Kowalski ordered his crew. One of the Dreadnoughts broke formation. It moved away from the fleet into open space near Mars. The ship was enormous. Up close, 5 km of dark armor and weapon systems. It positioned itself near a small asteroid, nothing more than a rock, perhaps 200 m across. That asteroid represents a Rixian warship at scale. Kowalski explained, watch closely. The Dreadnought's main weapon came online. Energy gathered at a point on the ship's bow. The power buildup was visible even to optical sensors. Space itself seemed to distort around the charging weapon. Then it fired. A beam of pure energy lanced across space. It struck the asteroid in less than a second. The rock did not shatter. It did not break apart. It simply ceased to exist. One moment there was an asteroid. The next moment there was expanding gas and debris so fine it might as well have been dust. The galactic networks exploded with activity. Every physicist wanted to analyze what they had just seen. The energy required to vaporize that much mass completely was beyond anything in standard galactic technology. That was one shot from one weapon on one ship. Kowalski said, we have 500,000 ships. Each carries multiple weapons of similar power. Do you understand now, Commander Thaxis? Your fleet of 50,000 ships faced a force that could have destroyed every vessel. You brought without taking damage. Ourselves, Thaxis had no words, his people were warriors, they understood. Strength, what they had just witnessed, was strength on a level they had never imagined possible. In the Galactic Council chambers, chaos reigned. Delegates shouted questions, some demanded investigations, others called for emergency security measures. Order that had existed for thousands of years was shaking. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the central platform. She waited for the noise to quiet. When it did not, she spoke anyway, her voice cut through the confusion with surprising authority. I understand your shock, she said. You have questions. The galaxy deserves answers. Let me tell you why we did this. The chamber fell silent. Every being present wanted to hear the human explanation. When humanity first made contact with galactic civilization, we Clear's throat were excited. Sarah began. We thought we had joined a peaceful community. We were wrong. We studied your history. We learned about wars that killed billions. We discovered empires built on conquest. We saw that power determined survival in this galaxy. She activated a holographic display. It showed human history, wars fought on ancient Earth, weapons that evolved from simple tools to planet destroying arsenals, civilizations that rose and fell based on their military strength. We humans have a long history of war, Sarah continued. We nearly destroyed ourselves several times. We learned hard lessons about survival. One lesson stood above all others: never be weak, never be defenseless, never depend on others for protection. The display changed. It showed the early days after first contact, human leaders making decisions in secret meetings, plans being drawn, resources being allocated. The beginning of the Dreadnought initiative. We made a choice, and Sarah explained we would join your council. We would be friendly and peaceful. We would share our culture and learn from yours, but in secret we would build. We would prepare. We would make certain that no species could threaten our survival. You lied to us, the Corfax delegate accused. For 50 years you deceived the entire galaxy. We protected ourselves, Sarah corrected. Would you have reacted well if we had announced our intentions, if humanity had said from the beginning that we plan to build the largest fleet in galactic history? You would have seen us as a threat. Other species would have acted against us. We would have been forced into conflict before we were ready. The logic was undeniable. If humanity had been honest about their intentions, they would have been stopped by hiding their strength they had been able to build without interference. Zixathara, the council speaker, processed this information. The crystal being's thoughts moved through complex pathways. You planned this from the beginning. The friendly humans, the peaceful artists, all of it was a mask. Not all of it, Sarah replied. Our culture is real. Our art and music come from genuine human creativity. Our friendships with other species are sincere. But yes, we hid our military capabilities. We showed you what we wanted you to see while we prepared for the worst. Back in the Sol system, the demonstration continued. Human dreadnoughts moved through formations that showed perfect coordination. They accelerated to speeds that made Rixian sensors struggle to track them. The quantum singularity drives pushed the massive ships through space with grace that belied their size. Those drive systems, a Rixian engineer studied his Readings, they should not be possible. The power output exceeds our fusion. Technology by factors of hundreds. What are they using? The answer would shock. The galaxy when it was revealed. Humanity had developed quantum singularity containment. Each dreadnought carried a miniature controlled singularity that generated nearly unlimited power. The technology was decades beyond anything else in known space, but drive systems were not the only advancement. Human weapons used principles of particle physics that galactic science had not discovered. Their shields utilized quantum field manipulation. Their sensors could detect ships through stealth technology that other species considered unbeatable. We did not just build more ships, Sarah explained to the council. We advanced our technology in secret. We devoted resources to research that other species thought impossible or too dangerous. We took risks. We pushed boundaries. We achieved breakthroughs that you will spend decades trying to understand. The galactic military analysts began to grasp the full picture. Humanity had not just built a large fleet, they had created a technological advantage that might take centuries for other species to match. What do you want? The delegate from the Thoraxian Confederacy asked. You have revealed your power. You have shocked the galaxy. What are your intentions? Sarah had waited 50 years for this question. We want what we have always wanted. To live in peace, to explore the galaxy, to be left alone. But now the galaxy knows what happens if anyone threatens us. We will defend ourselves with overwhelming force. We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be seen as weak ever again. The message was clear. Humanity was offering peace, but from a position of strength. They would be friendly neighbors to those who respected them, but any species that thought to take advantage of humanity would face the full might of 500,000 dreadnoughts. Commander Thaxis watched from his flagship. His empire had made a terrible mistake. The Vrexians prided themselves on military strength. Now they knew there was a power far greater than their own. The shame would last generations. What will you do with my fleet? He asked Admiral Kowalski. We will escort you to the edge of our 3 months had passed since the revelation at Sol. The galaxy had changed in ways both subtle and profound. Every species reevaluated their position. Every military force recalculated their strength. Every political alliance shifted to account for the new reality. Humanity was no longer the weak newcomer. They were a superpower. Ambassador Sarah Chen walked through the rebuilt Galactic Council chambers. The space looked the same but felt different. Delegates who once ignored her now stepped aside respectfully. Species that had dismissed humanity now sought meetings with human representatives. The shift in attitude was complete. The council was in emergency session, not to discuss threats or wars, but to address humanity's new status. 3 months of debate and negotiation had led to this moment. Council Speaker Zixthera called the session to order. The crystal being's voice carried authority that had been tested by recent events. We gather to formalize what has become obvious to all. Humanity can no longer be treated as a minor member species. Ambassador Chen, the council offers humanity permanent seat with full veto power over military actions. Do you accept? Sarah stood. She had prepared for this moment. We accept with conditions. Humanity seeks not dominance but equality. We propose the formation of a mutual defense initiative. Human shipyards will be made available to allied species. We will share some of our technology. In return, we ask for guarantees of non-aggression and free trade. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some delegates were excited by the possibility of accessing human technology. Others worried about what this meant for galactic power structures, but no one dismissed the proposal. No one could afford to. The delegate from the spoke first. Your offer is generous, but why? You have overwhelming military superiority. You could demand anything you want. Why offer to help other species? Because we learned something from our own history. Sarah replied, power without purpose leads to corruption. Strength without responsibility leads to tyranny. We built this fleet to defend ourselves, but we recognize that a stable galaxy benefits everyone. If we help our allies become stronger, we all become more secure. It was a radical proposal. The galaxy had always operated on competition. Species hoarded technology and maintained advantages over potential rivals. Humanity was offering a different model, cooperation based on mutual benefit rather than dominance. Back on Earth, life had changed dramatically. The secret was out. Citizens who had not known about the hidden fleet struggled to process the revelation. Schools taught new history lessons about the Dreadnought initiative. Media outlets ran endless analysis of what this meant for humanity's future. But there was also pride, the fear that had gripped Earth when the Rixian fleet approached had transformed into confidence. Humanity walked taller now. They had proven themselves on the galactic stage. Admiral Kowalski stood in the command center beneath Luna. Around him, his officers monitored the Dreadnought fleet. The 500,000 ships had dispersed throughout human-controlled space. They no longer needed to hide. Their existence was known. Their power was established. Status report on the Mutual Defense Initiative. Kowalski requested. Commander Torres pulled up relevant data. 7 species have formally requested access to our shipyards. The Thexians want to upgrade their defensive fleet. Corax Prime seeks new shield technology. Even some smaller species that had no military force are asking for help building defensive capabilities. What about the Rixians? Kowalski asked. Complete radio silence from their empire. Intelligence suggests they are reorganizing their entire military doctrine. The humiliation of their fleet being captured without firing a shot has created political chaos. Some factions want revenge. Others argue for accommodation with humanity. Kowalski nodded. The Vrexian response was predictable. A warrior culture faced with superior force would struggle to adapt, but time would tell whether they chose wisdom or pride. Priority message arrived from Earth's government. Kavalsolski read it and smiled. The president has approved the technology sharing program. We begin transfers next month. Start with the species that showed friendship when we were weak. The Thexians get first access. The decision was strategic. By rewarding loyalty and punishing aggression, humanity was shaping galactic politics. Species learned that befriending humans brought benefits. Threatening humans brought consequences. On the Vrexian home world, Commander Thaxis stood before the Imperial Council. His mission had failed spectacularly. The Emperor himself presided over the hearing, Thaxis. Expected punishment, death perhaps. Instead, he received a different order. You will return to human space, the Emperor declared, not with warships. With a diplomatic vessel, you will negotiate a non-aggression treaty. The Empire acknowledges human superiority. We will not make the mistake of challenging them again. It was a stunning reversal. The Vrexian Empire had never backed down before, but they were practical. They understood when they were outmatched. 1,000-year treaty was better than destruction. The terms Thaxis asked, whatever they demand within reason, the Emperor replied, we will trade with them. We will respect their borders. We will not threaten their colonies. In return, we hope they will not destroy us. The Empire has survived for millennia by knowing when to fight and when to make peace. This is a time for peace. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, the vote concluded by overwhelming majority. The Council approved humanity's conditions. Earth gained its permanent seat. The Mutual Defense Initiative became official policy. The galaxy entered a new era. Sarah Chen addressed the assembled delegates. Today marks a turning point. For too long, this galaxy has operated on fear and competition. Species hoarded power and viewed neighbors as threats. Humanity offers a different path. We will share what we have learned. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves. We will build a galaxy where strength is used for defense, not conquest. The applause was genuine. Many species had suffered under the old system. The promise of stability and cooperation appealed to them, but some remained skeptical. Power corrupts. History taught would humanity be different. Only time would tell. 6 months after the revelation, the first joint projects began. Human engineers worked alongside Thoraxian scientists to upgrade their fleet. The shipyards around Jupiter's moons produced vessels for allied species. The technology transfers were carefully controlled, giving allies significant improvements without revealing humanity's most advanced secrets. The quantum singularity drives remained exclusive to human ships. The particle beam weapons stayed under human control, but shield technology was shared. Improved sensors were distributed. Allies became genuinely stronger without becoming equal to humanity. The strategy worked. Species that gained human technology became dependent on continued cooperation. They defended human interests because their own security now relied on the partnership. A web of mutual benefit spread across the galaxy. The Rixian Treaty was signed in a ceremony broadcast throughout known space. Commander Thaxis, now serving as his Empire's ambassador to humanity, pledged non-aggression for 1,000 years. In return, humanity agreed to limited trade and respect for Vrexian sovereignty. Our two species met as enemies, Thaxis said during the ceremony, but we need not remain enemies. The Vrexian Empire recognizes that humanity is the dominant military power in this region of space. We choose peace with strength rather than war with destruction. It was a humiliating admission for a proud warrior culture, but it was also wisdom. The galaxy noticed, if even the Vrexians bowed to human power, what chance did lesser species have? 1 year after the revelation, Ambassador Sarah Chen stood on Earth looking at the stars. So much had changed. The planet she protected was now the center of galactic power. The species she represented had become The guardians of peace, but with power, came responsibility. Human leaders understood this. They had studied history. They knew that empires rise and fall. They were determined to build something that would last. The 500,000 dreadnoughts remained on patrol, silent guardians of human space and allied territories. They were the stick that made diplomacy possible, the threat that made peace preferable to war. Admiral Kowalski joined her at the observation window. Do you think we did the right thing? He asked, revealing our strength the way we did, Sarah. Consider the question. We could have stayed hidden longer, but the Vexians forced our hand, and maybe it was time. The galaxy needed to know not just that we are strong, but that we are willing to use that strength wisely. Some species will always fear us, Kowalski observed. Let them fear, Sarah replied. Better they fear us and stay peaceful than think us weak and attack. We built this fleet so we would never be victims again, so humanity would never depend on the mercy of others. That goal has been achieved. They stood in silence, watching Earth turn beneath them. On the surface, billions of humans lived there, lives in security. They did not think about the fleet that protected them. They did not worry about galactic threats. That was the gift that 500,000 dreadnoughts provided, the freedom to live without fear. Across the galaxy, the lesson had been learned. Humanity was patient but not weak. They were friendly but not defenseless.